Hi everyone, my name is Richelle Desiree, and today I'll be presenting to you on my product core competencies pitch for my product and artist management class. The product that I'll be presenting to you today is iTunes Radio. iTunes Radio is a new feature in iTunes. It will allow the user to stream free internet radio. There will be a couple hundred stations available, and users will be able to purchase songs directly from the iTunes store. The company that is making iTunes Radio is Apple, and of course, we know Apple as one of the leaders in cutting edge technology design and electronics. They have products such as the Mac computer, the iPad, iPod, iPhone, and applications and software such as iTunes and now iTunes Radio, which is a feature of iTunes. The core competencies that I'll be presenting to you on today is driving business results, delivering results through people, and sharing market-driven direction, guiding product fit and function. The first competency, driving business results, I think the way that we should do that is by identifying commercial opportunities. So one thing that could be available in iTunes Radio is having artists create their own station to promote their music, and the music that they would curate in that station or in that list of songs would be songs that they like. And then also, if they were probably promoting an album, they could probably add some of their own songs on there to promote their music. And then on the flip side, listeners can customize their own station by selecting their favorite artist, song, or genre of music, similar to Pandora. Which brings me to threats. The threats that I think that iTunes Radio, that are directly linked to iTunes Radio, are their competitors, such as Spotify, Pandora Radio, and Sony Internet Radio. And all of these internet radio stations provide a similar service. So that's why I listed them as threats. In terms of company alignment to iTunes Radio, I say that it's advanced because Apple created iTunes, and it has already proven successful among Apple portable device owners. And of course, iTunes Radio is just a feature of iTunes, so that's why I think that the alignment is advanced. And then let's see. In terms of marketing, I would say that promoting iTunes as an added feature in iTunes, promoting iTunes Radio as an added feature in iTunes would be a good way to go. Mainly because for the customer, it makes the product seem intuitive, and it makes them feel like, okay, it's just a feature. It's not another app that I have to learn or another entirely different product that I would have to learn. And then, of course, promoting it in the store, promoting it in the iTunes app, promoting it on social media and also online on apple.com would be great locations for marketing iTunes Radio. The cost drivers that I would list would be competitors, of course, because competition drives pricing, I think. And then app development costs. If it's too expensive or if it's really expensive, then the cost of the app would increase, so would go up. Data plans for mobile devices, which is really based on the carriers, such as Sprint and Verizon and AT&T. And then national economic state. If people are a little a little more conservative about purchasing apps and purchasing mobile devices and just things that are not necessarily a need, then of course that would affect pricing, and then that would also affect profit. So currently iTunes Radio is free, but you do have an opportunity to purchase the songs directly from the iTunes store. If you hear the song and you like it, you can purchase it. And then also you can subscribe to iTunes Match to listen to iTunes Radio with no commercials. In terms of delivering results through people, I would say effective communication is a must. Making sure that the message of iTunes Radio is consistent in the media would be great. And then in terms of interpersonal, acting as a liaison between teams such as development teams and sales teams and the engineering teams, and just making sure that one is able to communicate effectively among all those teams would be great. And of course, working with different types of personalities and staff, because you can't promote a product by yourself. So you have to figure out a way to work with everyone, especially those who can help you. And then in terms of customer focus, I would say that, adding iTunes Radio as a streaming radio feature will enhance the user's experience, because they can listen to music for free instead of having to preview it from the iTunes store, or instead of having to purchase it, or instead of having to go to YouTube or to a completely different app to listen to that music at no cost. Building long-term relationships is crucial also. Most definitely the customer is at the core of all of this. Without customers, there will be no profits. There will be no company. So having a good long-term relationship with them would be wonderful. Interacting with Salesforce, I would say keeping the vice president of sales abreast of the technical and user-friendly features of iTunes Radio would be great, because then they can help you sell the product and they can promote the products and they can help you distribute the products also. And then ensuring that all sales associates in the physical store and online are aware of iTunes Radio improves the entertainment experience of the user. Like if they know the product, then they can help you sell it. And then in terms of ensuring market-driven direction, looking for trends, I would say acting as a customer champion is important. Focusing on the customers in the target market. Identify underlying and future customer needs. And then identifying strengths and weaknesses of the competition. So for instance, the strength is iTunes Radio is viewed as a feature of iTunes and not a separate app. That alone will cause people to not be apprehensive to trying out the app. And then, but a weakness is that Pandora, for instance, already has an established loyal customer base. And would they really care to switch to another product? I don't know, maybe they will, but the mere fact that Pandora is already established, has an internet radio service, and a lot of people have the app, then that is a weakness. Let's see. Prove superior value to competitors. To existing customers, they can easily access iTunes Radio feature on iTunes. And then all their music and videos will be synced on all devices through Apple's iCloud and AirPlay for Apple TV through a wireless storage system. So it gives customers an opportunity to not only use the feature, but then all their music will be synced throughout their device. And then utilizing demographics. Based on my market research, I found out that users aged 12 to 17 are the are the age band that use iTunes the most. So I think it would make sense to market iTunes Radio to them, since they're the ones who's using it the most anyway. Of course, there are other age bands who would be interested in using iTunes Radio, but just for the purpose of selecting the target market, I would say users age 12 to 17. And then, based on the US Census, 23.5% of the USA population is under 18. And then the average work travel time is 25 minutes. And the reason that I pointed that out is because some people play their music on the way to work. And then it would be good to know, is this just going to be a 5 minute drive? And if it is a 5 minute drive, would people really be interested in listening to iTunes Radio for 5 minutes? Some people would, some people wouldn't. So I just thought it would be really good to at least have an idea as to how long it takes most people to travel to work. And then, of course, the median household income is important, because then I guess maybe how much disposable income people have, and then also too, if they would probably be willing to make a purchase of something that they don't necessarily need, but it's solely for entertainment. And then, based on Bureau Label statistics.gov, 2.2% of the U.S. population engage in arts and entertainment in their leisure for 2.6 hours. And then on weekends, that increases to 5.2% of the population who engage in arts and entertainment for the same time frame. So that's good to know as well. In terms of guiding fit and function, I would say technical understanding is a must. When presenting new products, Apple's CEO, Steve Jobs, and now Tim Cook usually presents those products. And then along with Tim Cook are the VPs of design and engineering, who also educate the audience on the product specifications and then features in a clear, concise manner. So just about anybody can understand if they're interested in mobile devices or just Apple devices in general. And then let's see, product benefits. I think users can easily access the iTunes Radio feature in iTunes. They can create their own station. Celebrity DJs can curate their own playlist, which is available for free of charge to iTunes Radio listeners. And then a quick update will add iTunes Radio to an Apple device. In terms of new ideas for the products, I would say ask a famous artist like Beyonce to play her favorite iTunes radio station while her fans wait for her concert to begin. I recently went to her concert, and before it began, before the opening act even performed, of course they were getting the stage ready and everything, and they had music playing, and I think that's a very good idea. In terms of maybe having that music streaming on a large screen to advertise iTunes Radio to her fans, who are largely made up of teenagers. So a lot of her fans are in that target market. So they would probably be interested in iTunes Radio. And if Beyonce's name is attached to it, then they would probably be even more interested because they're fans of Beyonce. In exchange, Beyonce could receive a sponsorship amount of $10 million to cover some of her concert costs. And then you can also ask famous DJs to curate and play their own playlists at parties and clubs. Manufacturing principles, I would say that iTunes' current app will be restructured to accommodate the iTunes radio preset. The Apple device owners or users can install the free update iOS 7, which will automatically add iTunes Radio to their device. And then the launch date is on September 18th, 2013. So I would also, on the launch date, I would, if I were the product manager, I would also recommend that Apple device users upgrade to iOS 7 at no cost, and stress the no cost. I'm sure they're probably aware of that, because if you had an Apple device, then your upgrades are usually free. But anyway, I would still stress the no cost so that they can access iTunes Radio. So my positioning statement for product's core competencies pitch for iTunes Radio, I would say, to the Apple device user, iTunes Radio is a new feature in iTunes that gives the listener an opportunity to hear new and popular songs at no cost. Due to the vast library of music in iTunes and the opportunity to customize stations free of charge. And then the artist's endorsement, I would say, would be Beyonce, who's internationally known as a talented and commercially successful musician. The reason that I would choose her is because her fan base is largely comprised of teenagers and young adults. And since iTunes is used mostly by teenagers aged 12 to 17, her fans would recognize her and would be willing to try iTunes Radio if they don't already have access to the iTunes app, or if they don't already have an Apple device. And that's it. And that's my pitch for iTunes Radio. Thank you very much.